Physics simulation has revolutionized how we animate physical phenomena like cloth and fluids. But animating characters remains a manual and tedious process. Traditional animation techniques tend to produce stiff and unresponsive behaviors. We are using reinforcement learning to develop more lifelike and responsive physically simulated characters. Our character learns to perform lifelike motions by imitating human motion data, such as walking, running, and sword swings. Our character is put through an intense training regimen for 10 years in simulation. Thanks to NVIDIA's massively parallel GPU simulator, this just takes 3 days of real-world time. The character then learns to perform a large variety of motor skills. Once the character has been trained, it can use those skills that it has learned to perform more complex tasks. Here, the character is trained to run to a target object and knock it over. We can also steer the character to walk in different directions like you would with a game character. Our model allows the character to automatically synthesize lifelike responsive behaviors to new situations. We can also control the character using natural language commands. For example, we can tell the character to do a shield bash or swing its sword. We hope this technology will eventually make animating simulated characters as easy and seamless as talking to a real actor.
We're out of a job. No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, that looked beautiful. That's fantastic, and I mean the technology is definitely getting better. I actually was just in a webinar today talking about AI in animation with Animation Mentor, and I think they brought something up, and I'm so glad they did because it really echoes the same feeling that I had. That whenever there is an advancement in technology, the first inclination is how is this going to render me obsolete? How is this affecting my job? Am I in trouble? And I lived through that myself, especially with when 3D animation became so prominent that we're out of a job. Animators are out of a job because, now there's such an automated system. And although this is, different in the aspect where they're physically actually doing the work, I still feel as if there's a place. I still feel as if there's a place for animation and there's a place for both. I personally feel that technology is great that I just saw. However, I'm not seeing a hero character in there. I'm seeing things that I've seen already. Although it looked great, the actual use of AI animation is pulling from things that we've seen. And I don't see the technology at any time soon getting to the point where it's going to be able to come up with something that is new. It pulls from data that exists. So, and I'm not saying that was bad. It looked great. I mean, I would approve those animations. It looked fantastic. But I've seen it. And I would rather, if we utilize that in a pipeline structure, cool, use that on stuff that I don't need to be a hero element. I don't need that to be a player. That's a great AI that's running around, and it's, kind of someone that is cannon fodder. We're able to just kill a bunch of those kind of guys. And it's fine if it's repetitive and it's what we've seen, because I'm not focusing on those guys. I'm focusing on our hero character. That's what I would rather see. So I think there's a place for both. I also firmly believe that as opposed to seeing new technology as a threat, if we are able to harness and utilize new technology, it would empower us as opposed to threaten us. What that means right now and how to do that, I'm going to be honest and say, I don't know. I'm figuring it out myself. But I would rather come at it with the mindset that this is going to benefit me as opposed to threaten me. And I just need to figure out how it's going to benefit me.
Could you actually explain when you're looking for a hero, let's say an animator would give you this, right? So an AI is an animator. So now you have to direct the AI. What would be your feedback? It becomes a hero animation.
Great question. So what you saw, I would say, I would classify that as a great base animation set. The sword swinging, the pushing of the shield, that was good. It serviced the idea of, well, that's he's attacking and such. But when it comes to hero, and essentially what that means to me is that this is what stands out. And the best way I can describe it, sum it up in a single word, would be special. What is special about what I'm seeing? I when I play this game, when I play this character, I want to feel as if this character is special in some way. And it's those little moments where it's doing something that is unique and is interesting. That's what excites you. And not only that, I feel as if in the process of playing the game, it should be a journey with you and the character, meaning what the character does in the beginning of the game is not what they do at the end of the game. I want to feel as if my character grows in some fashion. And I want to feel as if the attacks are getting better and that I'm seeing even more, awesome kind of traits of what the character is doing. That's why there's progression, and you can say, I want the character to have better melee attacks, or run faster, or jump higher, or do cool flips when they're in the air and such. You want to feel as if you're progressing in some fashion. You want to feel as if the journey that I am on in this game mirrors what that character is doing as well. I don't see that. I don't see that with what I'm seeing. I'm seeing great cannon fodder. I'm seeing guys that show up. They're going to get beat up with my special attacks that I'm doing. I want to see them go flying after I do something incredible because I've worked my way up into increasing my character to have these cooler kind of combats. So yeah, the best way I can describe it is that it's a feeling. Much like most animation is a feeling. And also, I would like to say that what I saw, the NVIDIA software or the technology you saw, again, very impressive, but I'm also seeing it in a vacuum. I'm seeing it as a tech demo. And it's quite of a big difference when you see something in a vacuum in a tech demo compared to an entire product like a game. After playing an hour of the same kind of animations that what you showed, it's going to get repetitive and boring. And it might not be something that I can point my finger at and say, well, this game is boring, but I don't know why. I'm definitely going to feel it. My character feels stagnant. It's the same attacks that I'm consistently doing, the same animations that I'm consistently doing. I want to make it feel unique and somehow powerful. I really questioned if it's going to be able to give you exactly what you asked for. I think there was an opportunity for juniors to utilize this tech and find the way that it empowers their position. I personally don't feel that junior positions should be looked at as the jobs that only and solely do the remedial, labor-intensive tasks. And I feel as if that there is an opportunity to find how this new tool could be used to their advantage. And again, because it's so new, I am still finding that answer myself. I don't have that answer, but I do feel as if that this is a change in our industry, and I feel as if it's an opportunity for us to grow. And the best thing I can say is that I am optimistic that there will be a balance of the creative side as well as the art, as well as the technology to coincide. I feel that art and creativity should drive tech as opposed to the other way around. I was actually talking about this, and I'm trying to remember who I spoke to, but like I said before, I think AI is great with creating something in a vacuum. Like this image is great. This character looks awesome. It looks great. Very, very cool. But I want to create a language with all of these characters and the environments and the animation. It needs to feel cohesive. And yes, I can sit there in the prompt and I can just give me, a side-scrolling adventure game in brutalism kind of architecture, and it pops up. Cool. Now what? How does that relate to the next level? How does that relate to the boss characters? How does that relate to the UI? And that's where the real creativity is, or how all this is going to be working together, not just in a single image. How can all this work properly together so when I'm playing the product, it's like all this feels great? Imagery, music, animation needs to really just be cohesive. I lived through something very similar, not AI wise, but just attitude of what approaching new technology when animation was really switching to 3D animation. And I kept hearing the nail in the coffin is dead and blah, blah, blah. And animators are, no more. And I remember not believing that. I remember saying to myself, I think that there is an opportunity, and maybe I'm just an optimist at heart, or I'd like to be an optimist at heart, and that there's an Echo stop. Speaking of AI, the Amazon Alexas are always yelling at me. I'm an optimist at heart, I guess, in which I see an opportunity to use that new technology for your benefit. And like I said, what is that right now? I don't know. I really don't know. And I'll be honest. I am trying to figure it out myself. But I think the number one thing is to consistently say, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to create? And sure, new AI coming out, that looks great. But it is completely fair to say that's not what I want. I want this. I'm very specific on this. And even though that's fantastic, it doesn't match to what I want.